Need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today, we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
Hello, good morning viewers, and welcome to National Discuss this beautiful day. And of course, following from yesterday, we are still on Dino Melaye saga. Today we have some updates from yesterday, and those are the things we want to talk about today. Really, I have a guest in the studio. Of course, thank you for gracing the occasion today.
You're welcome.
We want you to introduce yourself to the guest. At least let them have a feel of who you are.
All right.
Start coming, they know who they're directing.
Okay. Good people of Nigeria, my name is Sunday Ogunleye. I'm a comrade, a political analyst, and social scientist, like you may rightly put it. Some other people could like to refer to themselves as social commentators. So, you know, as young minds, young people of nowadays, we always tend to comment and talk about a whole lot of things as concerning the policy.
All right, that is all, and my name is Uche Oduma. We'll go for a short break now. We come back and go straight into what we have at hand today. It is still Senator Dino Melaye's update.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption. We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
what happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
Don't go, don't go. Move back. Yes.
Please don't move.
Don't move.
All right, that is actually the video of Senator Dino Melaye, being taken to hospital, and of course later we heard it was Zankley Hospital in Abuja.
Yes.
That's what we say too. And now the update we got from yesterday is that some senators went to visit him there.
Yeah.
And then the next day he was arrested, and then we saw him on handcuff.
Yes.
Which the Senate President has actually come up to debunk.
Yes.
Yeah, but we are trying to look at the video that came online and the reality, the video, and trying to match it with the words of the Senate President. I think we should start from there.
Yes. I think we really need to have a background as to what happened. Yesterday after the plenary, there was a move that the other papers should be kept on hold, the items of the other papers should be kept on hold, and the senators that were present in the House, maybe some of them, marched down to the National Hospital to commiserate with the senator in question, Dino Melaye. But then there was an initial suggestion, which we saw online, that the Senate President assigned a few people to go visit him at the hospital. And upon arriving, they were not permitted to get into the hospital.
By the men of Special Anti-Robbery Squad.
Yes. Then later, we saw some video clips to which the Senate President himself arrived at the National Hospital. And so, that was where the speculation started coming in. If he was really arrested and put on handcuffs or not. But I think in normal Nigerian policing, when a person has been arrested, they do their possible means to put the person, on hold. They capture the person in a way that the person would not have tendencies to escape. So it might be possible. It might be possible that he was put on handcuffs. It might be very, very possible. Even though the Senate President came out to debunk the story. When we saw, I watched it yesterday night in one of the TV stations, the Senate President speaking, granting an interview to the pressmen on ground, saying that he was not on handcuffs. He was not on handcuffs, and that he was in stable condition, but then they have to rely on the advice from the medical personnel at the hospital.
Okay, and I think yesterday we quickly heard over the news that the doctor that treated Dino Melaye was arrested. I mean, these are the updates that are just coming out.
Sometimes when we hear things like that and they are not being substantiated with visible evidences like images or videos, we are not. We might not be able to have full details of information in our disposal. So we might not be able to talk much about that. But then the National Hospital has a spokesman, and so the doctor is in their payroll, is their staff. So
not the doctor of the National Hospital. He was actually taken first to Zankley Hospital.
Zankley Hospital around the Mabuchi Tako area.
Yes, he was taken to Zankley Hospital, and then he was transferred to
the National Hospital at 11 p.m. of Tuesday night, from what I gathered.
That's
at
the clip over there.
Okay. Yes.
That's Zankley Hospital.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So he was moved from this hospital down to National Hospital.
Maybe on the discretion of the SARS, the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Probably they might have felt that he being here might be as a means of a way of escape for him, as has always been the case.
So what happened to security? Are we saying that in Zankley Hospital we might not have adequate security to be there, but in National Hospital we can actually have adequate security? Or are we relying on the expertise of the doctors we have in National Hospital over the one we have in Zankley Hospital? Remember, this is private and this is government.
Yeah, it might be possible. Two things are involved there, like you rightly said, expertise come in place, and though we've not gotten medical feedback from either of the hospitals to tell us what exactly is wrong with him, but initial suggestion says he broke a vertebrae at the time he jumped out of the moving vehicle. But then it's something that is common of the senator in question. You could remember sometime early in the year when he was arraigned at the Federal High Court in Maitama. And so the news that went to town was that he stayed behind the court, knowing that some men of the police were outside to rearrest him. And so he, through some funny cunning means, he evaded their arrest. Yeah.
Okay.
And so maybe I'm saying it in a way that the police may have thought that he would maybe
try to evade
arrest again for a second time, being in a private facility. And you know, there are restrictions most likely in private facilities. If you've been to a private hospital, even as a family member to maybe a particular patient, there are things they tell you there that maybe in government hospital may not be obtainable. They restrict maybe your access to your own patient, even if it was a child or your parent or sibling. But I think due to his previous records of trying to sneak through, maybe that was why he was.
Okay, now there are some reactions that have trailed his rearrest. All right, now the video we saw in the hospital, which we'll play later, we saw him lying in the hospital with handcuff. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Now the reactions of Nigerians and of course the word coming in there is, why would you do this to a senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria? The reactions is coming actually as a mixed reaction. Some people are saying he's not above the law, while some are saying you should not do this to a sitting senator, to a serving senator. What's your thought on that?
From the ambits of the law, it is it has been stipulated the categories of people that cannot be arrested while in public office. Yeah, and those people are clearly stated. That is the elective holders of the executive level, that's the president and the vice.
You're talking about immunity now?
Yes, immunity, yes. And the governors, the state governors. Aside from those class of people, I don't think, in fact, there's no other class of people that cannot be arrested. And if you remember, when the Senate president had a case with the CCB, he was arraigned. That's to tell you that the immunity clause doesn't cover him in court.
No. What the reaction is actually about is being in a hospital bed and then on handcuff, like a common criminal. All right? That is just what it is. No, the question is, because of position, should the law not take its full course? And then looking at the law taking its full course, should it be to the extent of, putting a serving senator on handcuff while in the hospital bed?
You are trying to come in, I understand what you're saying, but I think you're making it look like, in this perspective, probably we have VIP criminals and nominal criminals.
That is what I'm asking. I'm saying the law should take its full course. That is basic. But the reactions are coming like, this is a serving senator in the eye of the international community being on handcuff, on hospital bed.
A serving senator is not above the law, if I may come in here. A serving senator can be arrested, can be arraigned. If you join my perception in this matter with even a senator, his colleague, Senator Peter Wamboshi, he's been arraigned as we speak and has been remanded in a prison facility. That also is a serving senator. So why is Dino's case exceptional?
Okay. Now let's go back to him trying to evade arrest.
Okay.
Now let's go back to the story of them taking him to Lokoja, and then going back to that, let's remember again that the first time he was actually called to come to Lokoja to be arraigned, he wrote, to the court that he doesn't think he's safe in Lokoja. Now let us look at the law and the fundamental human rights a citizen of Nigeria deserve.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he does not feel safe in Lokoja. That is Kogi State, because of probably issues he's having with Governor Yaya Bello.
Yes.
Now, for them, after the court have heard his prayers, insist on taking him again from here back to Lokoja. Let's look at that scenario. Do you think there's a breach of right anyway? No matter his crime, let's remember that no citizen of Nigeria or the world, is proven to be guilty until a court of competent jurisdiction pronounces that upon him.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Every citizen has a freedom and the Human Rights Act, as stated in the law, consigns all citizens without a sense of doubt. But then, looking at Dino's issue, a court in Federal High Court, in Lokoja rather, has issued a warrant that he be arrested. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And so, he, as a person, as a citizen of the country, a respecter of the law, was supposed to have obeyed the court order, the summon that was granted.
Lokoja.
Yes, to go to Lokoja. But then, as a citizen with human rights, he asked that the case file be transferred
Down
to
here
Abuja.
to Abuja, okay?
Probably because he doesn't trust in the validity.
That was actually the statement.
Yes, but then he's a ranking senator. He's a prominent individual. He's somebody that cannot hide behind the shadows. Everybody knows him. I would have thought that he obeys the court summon
In
or the
Lokoja,
police invitation
against the background of him seeking for his fundamental human rights, or transferring the case
the
to
same
Abuja.
individual was cited in Lokoja when an honorable passed on, I guess, sometime early last month, in company with the Senate President.
Okay.
And then we saw some plethora of police officers coming around to welcome him and giving him a handshake. The same people that declared him wanted. So why won't he single-handedly give himself in to the police?
In Lokoja State?
Yes, in Kogi State.
Sorry, in Kogi
That
State.
was where the crime was alleged to have been committed. And so every criminal, or in quotes, are supposed to be arrested and arraigned in the vicinity of where the crime was committed.
Right?
That is the law.
Fine. Now we are looking at the fundamental human right that every citizen owes to himself to exercise. All right? Now, he is asking, I don't think I'm safe in the police custody. Now, what you are talking about now, that he went there on an occasion, and then with what do they call it now, with the Senate President,
Yes,
right? Fine.
yes.
Now he's saying that I don't feel safe. I don't think I'm safe going down to Kogi State, to Lokoja to be precise, to be arraigned. Now, this is police custody. This is an occasion. He's going there to give himself up. Okay, what did he say I did? And the trial starts. He doesn't think he's safe going there. Now, let us look at that. Now, what has happened now? Him being taken. Okay, let me even ask you. The prayers that he asked for the court, or he sought for from the court, that his case be transferred to Abuja, was it granted by the court?
It hasn't been granted, from my own understanding.
Was there any injunction?
I don't think so. I've not heard of any. But then we're looking at it from the human rights perspective.
Yes.
But if you look at it that way, it could then stipulate that most people, maybe after being invited by the police, and should I say, let me retract, most bearers of the tag VIP, after being invited by the police, could just go to town and tell them, I can't come, and choose where they want the case. No, okay. That's not supposed to, from the eyes of the law, that is not supposed to be obtainable. Now, I was trying to chip in something. There is what is called undertaking of arrest and undertaking of life, of security, to demand security from the police. Why won't he give himself in to the police, citing that the police issues an undertaking that should anything happens to him upon appearance in Lokoja, they should be held responsible.
Okay.
From the security perspective.
Okay.
Let us look at it that way. Now, secondly, there is no way a person of his nature would be transiting from Abuja to Kogi State, to Lokoja precisely, and won't go with some security details attached with him. There is no way, there's no possibility in that.
Was any point that his security details were withdrawn?
I heard of that on the day the police invaded his residence at Maitama district of Abuja. I heard a particular, himself tweeted, he said a particular commissioner of police, unnamed, came to his house and retrieved the 2 police details that were attached to him.
Was there any particular reason for that action?
We got that information from his official Twitter handle.
Okay.
And he didn't cite any reason. He didn't cite any reason, but we could suggest what may have been the reason.
Okay. Now, going back to him being taken to Lokoja, the way that we actually got that 2 vehicles actually blocked the police vehicles and he escaped, right?
Yes.
Fine. Now, if his security details were withdrawn, let us look at it very, very logical. Now, if his security details were withdrawn, and then on his way to Lokoja, some persons, allegedly hoodlums, blocked the police vehicles and he escaped. Right?
Yes.
Good. Now, if this report
is coming... He attempted to escape.
He attempted to escape.
Yeah.
He attempted to escape. Okay, the first report that actually came was that he escaped.
Yeah, he tried running into the bush.
Yeah. So, at that point in time, these hoodlums, were they caught?
Well...
Because we know that he would have been taken to Lokoja on a very tight security. Yes. Or with a very tight security.
Yes.
Now, at this point, these hoodlums that came with 2 vehicles to block the police vehicles, were they caught? Was anyone caught in the process?
That is where it gives people like us the chance to start thinking that they might have been a connivance. Because it is not possible for a person of that magnitude having been arrested in such facility as the SARS. I don't know if you've been there.
Yes.
Now, if you know that place very, very well, it's in a locality that is condoned of normal public activity. It's secluded, it's on its own, it's isolated. And so when a person of that magnitude was being taken out, you'll be sure, we were sure that probably 1 or 2 police vehicles were accompanying the senator to Lokoja at the time. And so it gives me some questions that I've been pondering in my heart as to how possible was it that he even made an attempt
to
escape.
And
normally,
when a person
is being arrested and is being moved from one location to another, I'm sure they don't put him at the edge of the vehicle. They put him in between.
That he can easily open the vehicle and then go away.
And so there were news, the speculation that 2 Hilux vehicles came around to intercept the police moving vehicle, and that was where the whole drama of he jumping out came up. I don't want to buy that story, on my own personal opinion. I don't want to buy that insinuation, even though that is what has been trending in the news. But for me, I don't know how true it is. There was even a blog I read, and they said 4 hefty men came out, stormed out from the bush and intercepted the vehicle, a moving vehicle. I don't know how true that is. And so that was how he was able to attempt his escape. But then, from the way the police work, with their siren blaring and a whole lot of paparazzi and ragmatas in their movements, it's so very rare, so very funny to hear that 1 or 2 vehicles would want to intercept a moving police vehicle.
Was able to intercept.
That's quite funny. Especially from a person who resides in Abuja and know that axis very, very well.
This is SARS. This is not just the regular police.
Exactly. That's my point. And I know that area. The lanes are not just a 2-lane road. It's quite spread. It's wide. So how would 2 vehicles attempt to intercept?
And then the question again is, those 2 vehicles, did they actually cross the checkpoint?
That is what I'm trying to buy. I can't. Okay. It has not really. I'm not.
Now moving on. Let's look at the reason behind the trying to escape arrest. Some persons have come up with this story that probably he doesn't want to end up like Dasuki. Up to now, Dasuki is still undergoing trial.
Yeah.
The trial have not ended, and of course he's still behind, the bars on all that. So how true is the story?
Well, the other day I listened to his lawyer, Chief Mike Ozekome, SAN, where he said Dino, that the senator, confided in him that he has valid information that if he was taken to Lokoja and put behind bars, that there's an attempt to kill him, and not just to arrest him, not just to jail him. There's an attempt to poison his food or inject him or something, which is a very, very heavy one. And I think that may have been the reason, that may have prompted his actions. That may have prompted his actions. And like I rightly said previously, it's something, Dino is not somebody, Senator Dino Melaye is not somebody that is in oblivion. He's somebody that is known by everyone.
He's a very conspicuous person. Let's use the word. He's everywhere. I mean, even a small child knows Senator
Everybody
Dino.
knows Dino. From the time he was honorable a House of Rep member, he was very popular in town.
Yes.
Then, I don't know if he has reduced on that. Then he had fleet of vehicles with his name inscripted on it.
All right, we'll go for a short break now so we can be able to take your calls. Please stay with us. But before we go there, now against the backdrop of Senator Dino Melaye arrest and rearrest again, we are still having some herdsmen allegedly killing people down there in Benue State, which lies and where lies our priority as a nation. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption. We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in house like Nakama. They are like Agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse. Weekdays on NCTV.
All right, they went back from that short break and straight on. Like we said, this drama is happening in Nigeria, and innocent citizens are still being killed in Benue State. Now, day before yesterday, like 18 persons went, two priests, and this took place in a church. And I think yesterday again, another one took place.
Yes, in Goma local government.
Why do we keep having these recurring situations amidst the Senator Dino Melaye saga?
You know, there was somebody that said something. One of the senators in the House yesterday, he said, I think that should be Senator Misao, the one that had the police issue sometime last year. He said, if we have this number of police people having to go to Dino Melaye's house to surround it and condone all the environment, over 100 of them, why wouldn't they be deployed to Benue State, where there are crises, killings every day, almost every now and then? Once you tune into your TV or turn on your radio,
people are being killed.
You hear people being killed, slaughtered like chicken. It goes to tell us that the security situation in the country is alarming. It's alarming. It's something that we really need to look into. And especially in Benue State, being a state where for some time now has been relatively peaceful, that's over the years, and just very recently we started having the herders and farmers clashes, and just recently the deputy governor of the state was credited to have said that it wasn't just the herder and farmer clash again, and some unidentified persons had crept into the situation and have started perpetuating this evil. So it's quite serious. It's quite serious. I think it needs to be looked into. The security echelon of the country has to come together and find a solution.
Like you said, instead of having, we are not saying that nobody is above the law, and we are not saying that we should all, try to act outside the confines of the law.
Yes.
But we are saying, if all our attention, all our security attention is tailored towards the rearrest, the arrest, and of course, subsequent rearrest of Senator Dino Melaye. What happens to the lacuna we've created for these miscreants to always have their way, like going to Benue State amidst the saga? Where is our priority?
Well, you know, as a country, as a security, the police, I would say, has different divisions and different departments that work in their own rights. Now, I wouldn't want to have a conjoined insinuation or perspective concerning the Dino case and the security situation. But then, I think the bridge in this situation is the fact that the security personnel or the security hierarchy have not proven to us their competence in terms of handling issues as regards security in Benue State, Taraba, Zamfara, and Southern Kaduna, some other states like Kogi too. But then they've deployed strength and competence in Dino's matter. That's just the bridge in this whole issue, and that's what calls for questioning.
Which means they're actually capable.
They are capable of doing their job.
Competence
they have the competence
of doing their job.
Yes.
So why are we still having a very big gap created in Benue State?
The lapses, to me, it's I wouldn't say it's self-imposing because that would be very heavy to say, but then it's something that gives me a benefit of doubt that I don't really know why, and I don't want to take position because we're on air. I don't want to say things that could spike anger among the people. But then it calls for questioning. I want to put it that way. It calls for serious questioning as to. You remember there was a time the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, ordered that the IGP of police to move to Benue State. And so he went there, and I guess he did spend up to 24 hours in the place. He met with the governor, and then there was a town hall meeting, and that was all, and he was back in Abuja. And the directive was that he remains in Benue State until the place becomes relatively calm.
That's relocation as the president timed it.
That was the president directive, that he moves there and remains there until Benue State is relatively calm, peaceful. But then he went there and they spent up to 24 hours and came back. And so the report got to the president, and I'm sure you remember there was a time the president spoke and said he's surprised as to why the IGP of police did not obey his orders. That leaves us with some stipulates that, like I said, I wouldn't want to mention on air.
Okay. Now, we can actually say a bridge in communication.
Would I say bridge in communication or ineptitude? That is ineptitude to duty, and it should be sanctioned. These are lives of people being taken on a daily basis. And so the security echelon, the security hierarchy had not done anything viable to stop it.
All right, I'll go for another break now, and when we come back, we'll continue with this discussion. It's still Dino Melaye's update on what has been happening. Please stay with us.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption. We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in house like Nakama. They are like Agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today, we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse. Weekdays on NCTV.
All right, yeah, you're welcome back from that short break. Now you can place your calls. Now we'll be able to pick it, adequately on the number that will come shortly on the screen. All right, sir. We are still looking at why we keep having these killings, and then the next question is, what is the way out with all these killings?
I think the way out.
We are not actually moving away from the topic of discussion.
Yes.
Of course, they are connected. All right. Now, what is the way out with this spread of killings?
I think the way out is for the security people to do their job. The police, most importantly, because this is still a civil issue, they should go to town and do their job. There's a commissioner of police in the states who, I will say, in the last few weeks has a handful on him. And so if he's been overwhelmed, they should deploy more. We've had cases like in Zamfara sometime last year where a particular AIG was deployed to assist in the operations of the police over there. We've had cases also, I think in Taraba, where a battalion of police was mobilized to the state. And so if the police officers right there are not sufficient, they should add more force, they should add more bodies to them so that the job is being done. That's how to settle the matter.
All right, now coming back to Senator Dino Melaye, what do you think is going to be his fate right now in the hospital? Because he's still there.
I'm sure.
As long as the element takes.
The police are stationed there. I guess they are just waiting for the next medical advice. If it's stable, in stable condition, I believe what they are attempting or what they want to do is to move him to
the same Lokoja.
Yes, to Lokoja. But then yesterday, after plenary or during plenary, it was said that the Senate President ordered that the IGP of police be summoned.
Yeah.
Today being Thursday, 26th of April. Also, we'll wait to see the outcome of that.
But the question is, can the Senate actually, I'm not talking about the court now, can the Senate take a move, a legal move? Do they have the legal backing to stop such actions?
No, they don't. They don't. It's only a court of competent jurisdiction that could stop the senator in quotes from being moved.
I think we have a call. Sorry. Hello. Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please. Benue State, okay. You have a contribution or a question? Okay. that contribution slash questions. We expect you to react to it. Thank you. Okay.
If I rightly heard him,
Thanks.
He spoke about the fact that the Senate there's a misplacement of priority as to what the Senate has been deliberating in recent times. I think that's quite correct. The senators had to talk about the situation in Benue State precisely, and Taraba and some other places where we're having security upheavals. That is because the lives of people have been taken on a daily basis. And then, these are human beings. They go about doing their legitimate businesses. And the next thing we hear, sometimes early in the morning at ungodly hours, some men, in quotes, headsmen.
The last one that happened was at 11 p.m.
Just think of that.
So people have already gone to bed.
Just imagine that. That's why I said at unguarded hours, when people are meant to be sleeping or something.
But why people are sleeping? As Nigerian citizens, I'm reacting to what he's saying. I think they deserve some security. Like every nation, every nation, every state, every federation owes it to its citizen. Is their fundamental human right? Is called protection of rights and properties.
Yes.
So even as they are sleeping at those hours, I think they deserve some security from the sovereign nation.
Of course they do. I don't want to go back to was it last 2 years or last 3 years where a particular governor came out to say that as a country we are being under-policed. If we start reading out the statistics and demographics right now, the time may just fail us to finish on that. So let's just remain on the issue. The issue is that if we are to check, the same, like I said previously, the same police people, over 100 of them, that were deployed to Dino's house and they did a fantastic job. He wasn't able to escape until he gave himself in. Why not they pick those same set of police? They did a very good job. I commend them for that. Move the same men to Benue State. At least if 100 and something police are stationed in one local government or in one vicinity, one locality, it goes a long way. It could curtail the security problems we have, the security crisis we're having there. Look at what the last caller said. He said there's no job. The state governor have not been paying salary. They've not been consistent on salaries. Yes, it's the same Benue State. And so the only means of survival, which is farming, is being snatched off their mouth by the headsmen. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's something we really need to talk about. It's something we need to look into. And so he was this thing. If it keeps brewing, it creates in people the agitative mentality. And so not so long from now, we should be expecting massive protests and massive agitations in town. Because it's looking like the senators and the government of the day are misplacing their priority. And it's not good. It's a bad one. It's not correct.
All right, now away from this, and before we have another call, what exactly are we expecting? Like I asked earlier. Hello. Yeah, good morning. Please, where are you calling from and your name?
Well, my name is Kevin Bashin. I'm calling from Jos.
Okay. I hope Jos is good today.
Is that?
I hope Jos is good today.
Yeah, very good.
All right, your contribution or your question quickly.
Yes, actually, in respect to Dino's case, I was meant to understand that Dino's issue is in connection with arms. And we're talking about insecurity. You understand?
Yes.
Yes. So Nigerian police, Nigeria as this nation is under police quite well.
Okay.
But we don't know where these arms are coming from, that they are using to kill people. So for me, the police need to take it very serious. That is not to say that I am indicting Dino, but arms are involved. You understand?
Yes.
So I want to please the police want to press the roots of these arms that they are using to kill people, because we don't know who are the sponsors of some of these non-government that are killing people across the nation. So we need to know, as far as arms is involved, for me the police should take it very serious until they get to the root of the matter, whether Dino is guilty or not. So it is something that it must be taken serious. Yes, the 100 police cannot be deployed to Benue because alone to complex issue because the environment is wide. Now they identify one person. They need to get that person. And I think that is why police is deploying more men to take care of the issue. So Dino should go down and answer his case. Dino is a non-person in this country. We all know him. You understand? And just like the case there had said, he said Dino would have written to the police seeking for undertaking to secure his life or to guarantee his safety. That he would have gone and appeared in court. And besides, the senator representing that thing, is he saying that the state is totally insecure even for him? What about his loyalists who live in that state? So that is my take. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for calling. Stay tuned.
Okay, I would like to react to the question you asked as to the security situation in Benue State and the connection it has to Dino's case.
Yeah.
I'm of this opinion, just like this immediate last caller has said, that the situation is quite alarming in the sense that the very major...
Hello?
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Dino, and I'm calling from Dino.
Your name is what? Okay, please, can you tune down the volume of your TV set?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Your contribution or your question, sir?
All right. I just want to say something about the issue of Melaye. Throughout the previous administration, not just the last one, there are some cases that really had calm and peaceful. Apart from some protest workers like that used to be like 1999 or whatever. But nothing has really had calm. And that means too. So why is it that since 20, that it was in 2016, 17, that there's a particular thing that making for in that space? I don't understand. And because whatever is happening in Taraba and Zamfara, no more than I think it's a ripple effect of movement of whoever that is participating with that is affected that side. But the major sport seems to be playing with. And the truth, we should tell ourselves the truth. 60% of all in this country comes from them. If we're not careful, because the government is not careful, they're going to be very serious with Christ. I don't know why it's so big. Just like the corresponding guy, I don't know his name, I'm so sorry for that, said that we want to implement these people and now have the pressure of going to complete. We should put 20% of that. That is the choice.
Okay, sorry. Hello, can you please do us a favor and speak up? Okay.
Just like the guy of that the word is priority to political issues now. If they are able to security issues to political issues in this country, it should be so the defense of that to this issue of security.
Okay.
By now, we should be seeing results, you know. It's so unfair that one line was dealing with. It's so unfair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. Thanks.
Okay, like I was saying in the previous, citing from what the previous caller said, the one before this, you know, one of the two reasons to which the police had invited the senator was that he armed some youths, or allegedly, armed some people to perpetuate crime. And so these are the fundamental reasons why we have security problems in the country. The arms to which this, in relation to the Benue and Taraba case, I'm trying to bring a bridge in. The fact that we have headsmen or unidentified individuals taking up arms and using it to slaughter people in their sleep. I begin to ask this question: where do they get these arms from? Could it be that some politicians may have given them to do to these arms to do the wicked act to which they've been using it for? And that's why there've been a public enlightenment on TV and on radio and every other platform very recently. The police asking people to turn in the arms in their possession, however light or heavy arms. The other day I saw on the news where a particular lady was arrested in Lagos because she was in possession of what you call pepper spray. And so that's a good one. So because we don't know to which extent these arms have gotten into the hands of individuals, and that's what they used in perpetrating crime.
All right, trying to wrap up on this because our time is actually fast spent and it means we might not be able to take in more calls. Sorry for that. Looking at this case, like I said, in which direction should we actually look at? Before, now he's still in the hospital, right? Now, in which direction are we actually going to, what are we expecting, from this case? Like something we can actually think the direction this matter might move to.
In my personal opinion, I think it's just the way other cases previously had gone. Because the person in question is a VIP, a serving senator, a prominent one. And so he has the backing of the leadership of the Senate. He's number one person. And, well, I think it's not going to have a logical conclusion, in my opinion. Let's
remember again that Dasuki is still in custody.
Dasuki was, from what we heard, was somebody who the government of the day never liked in the first place, judging from the experiences of the 1984.
But what we are seeing now is it not similar to Dino Melaye and Governor Yahaya Bello?
It's quite instructive. I wouldn't say it's similar. It's not. In the sense that Governor Yahaya Bello does not have the judicial powers to order the police and the security hierarchy to do its bidding. It comes from the authorities, from the powers from above.
Against the background of, we've seen some videos of Senator Dino Melaye.
Okay, the funny ones to which he does some comical...
Yes.
Well, those comical reliefs came at the right time because they came at the time when Nigerians were tensed, and so seeing all those things...
to do something.
Yes, those things where it was really, really funny.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for coming. That's the much we can take on this. We started yesterday, and we await for more updates to come up. Right. And as those updates come up, you can follow us up on our social media handles, where you can entertain your questions and all that. I still remain your host, Uche Uduma, and that's a wrap for me from here. Thanks.
Thank you. Might be 9:50. All time flies.